A kid influencer. The word alone is inherently dangerous. And another Netflix docuseries, Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kid Influencing, just dropped, highlighting yet another vile momager who turned her child into a YouTube superstar with over 12 million subscribers, only to find herself in a lawsuit brought against her by 11 different rising YouTube stars who were at one point a part of the mother's squad. This story is just being discussed all over the internet, and people are just appalled at this. And a lot of us didn't even know about this YouTuber or this story beforehand. I certainly didn't, but also I was sort of out of that generation that would have been watching this kind of content because I was older and wouldn't be watching like 13-year-olds doing prank videos. But she had a behemoth of a channel and she was huge. One person said, "The Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kid Influencing documentary is so disturbing. I had no idea this girl existed until today. I went to her Instagram profile and I'm just appalled. How sad. She needs guidance away from her mom." That is an understatement. Someone else said, "Why is no one speaking about Bad Influence docuseries on Netflix? We knew a lot, but holy shit." And that particular comment is what then got me to actually go watch the docuseries because I was seeing people talk about it, but didn't really know the extent of just how wild this story is. But I'm going to describe it a little bit for you guys today. So also a little bit of a spoiler warning. If you do want to watch the doc, I am going to give a lot of the high level info right here, right now. But because I think it's important to talk about, again, to reinforce the dangers of social media. The kid influencer is a young girl named Piper Rockelle, and her momager, Tiffany, is a single mother from Georgia who got Piper involved in pageants from a very early age, which, well, this tracks with kind of where this goes, because only to find success on social media when she started posting her daughter online. It's just like the pageants to influencer pipeline. And according to their family, Tiffany never even had Piper in school, like ever. I don't even know how that's legal. They didn't even know how that's legal, but somehow she just never had her in school.
So there was no homeschooling?
No, it was like pageants and then it was like social media. Didn't have time for school. Soon enough, Tiffany had moved Piper out to LA and basically started her version of a hype house with a bunch of 9 to 12-year-olds. Think Team 10 or David Dobrik's crew, but minors. Just very briefly, I'm just going to kind of show you guys her channel. Right now, it's 12.1 million subscribers. When this docuseries was being filmed and they were talking about it and showing clips from it, she was at 11.9, I think. So she's still growing, even in the midst of all of this that kind of has unfolded. So she started 8 years ago. She's, I think, 9 when she started this. So it starts out being like just her kind of content. And then she started having friends in her life, like be in her videos. And then they realized that performs much better. So it started to grow and grow. And then they started to get like young boys in the picture. So that was this full group of kids by the end of it. And they were making content all of the time. A lot of it looks innocent at first. And then the videos got progressively weirder. They started to see that videos that are a little more salacious, like who could make the most money kissing booth challenge, 11 million views, 10 million views. I mean, insane numbers. Maybe it's because it's more kid content, so kids just consume stuff in mass. But also, maybe it's because there's a bunch of creeps or both. But regardless, they noticed that and then they leaned in. So that's kind of the way that the content was. And a bunch of the young girls and their moms actually moved into the same fancy Hollywood Hills house. And then the whole thing kind of just turned into a content house, a hype house of sorts. And with every new minor that would join the squad, they would be required to make separate content for their own channel. So all the kids who were on these episodes all had channels, so they all had to be filming for each other's channel every single day. So it was just content 24/7. No weekends off. They would be up to the early hours of the morning filming all of the channels. I mean, the kids, like you can watch in some of the content, by the end, they're just like, they're tired. We've been filming these stupid prank videos all day long. And no laws to protect these kids, especially at this point, okay? So even just from a work law standpoint, like none of that was being put into place. Those kind of hours, it's just extremely, extremely unhealthy. But let me just quickly tell you guys about something that actually is healthy, and that is Gem. Gem is on a mission to make food as medicine a reality through bite-sized nutrition solutions that are simple and delightful to digest. The Gem Bite is a functional daily multivitamin formulated for proper absorption and packed with 20+ nutrients, prebiotics, and probiotics, all in one delicious real food bite for foundational health. Their bites are designed with your nutritional needs in mind, using real food ingredients your body naturally absorbs more effectively. And their key ingredient is beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that can help you boost your GLP-1 levels. Plus, Gem is committed to quality sourcing organic ingredients whenever possible, and they never use anything artificial. All of their bites are vegan, gluten-free, and soy-free. And it's not just feel-good marketing, they are backed by science. They formulate with nourishing ingredients that are individually backed by clinical and scientific studies to ensure that your body gets exactly what it needs every single day while still tasting delicious. So if you would like to give the first real food multivitamin a try, you can head to dailygem.com/Conrad or enter code Conrad at checkout for 30% off your first order. That's dailygem.com/Conrad or enter code Conrad at checkout for 30% off. This is something healthy, something good for your daily life. This kind of working in hours and lifestyle is not healthy at all. One tactic that Tiffany was using, because again, she's the one orchestrating all of this, all of their channels, all the different content. Like, these kids were not coming up with these things on their own. It was like Tiffany says, okay, kids, today you're going to pretend to be in a relationship and do this. And that's what they would do. So one of her famous tactics was forcing the kids into fake relationships so that they could sell it as crushes or ships, which is, shipping two content creators together, dating. So she would make them kiss on camera, go on dates, and they would document it as if they're in relationships. But again, this is all fake. It's literally acting. These kids were not dating. They did not like each other. Some of them didn't like each other at all, but then on camera, they were forced to be like, oh, my boyfriend. And reminder here, we are talking 9 to 13-year-olds. As a 9-year-old watching it, I'd be like, hee, silly. As the adult creating this content and orchestrating it, you almost have to see it for what it is and not what a lot of the consumers probably saw it was. The darkness is kind of like the curtain is pulled back and you're like, oh, this is not just the 9-year-old posting this content because she thinks it's cute and silly. It's a mom, an adult woman, and an adult man who was the film videographer director here. This is a guy. There's another guy named Hunter involved in all of this. He was the one filming all of this, directing them. Okay, you stand here. Okay, put your hands here. I mean, it was completely contrived, which makes it 10 times more creepy. Here's just some of those videos, last to stop massaging their boyfriend wins. At this point, this was 4 years ago. Piper is 13, and some of those kids are younger. I mean, oh gosh, it's so bizarre. Last to stop kissing boyfriend wins $10,000, couples. And then it's all the fake couples kind of all have to be staged there in the thumbnail. Having my girlfriend hit on me to see how my boyfriend reacts. And then she's pretending to hit on a girl. And probably because this documentary really talked about it, they probably had to wear crop tops for that photo and had to be posed a certain way. All of that is specific. That is what is so creepy and dark about a lot of this industry is every single thing can be manipulated. It's wild to me that this kind of content was made and produced by adults and no one batted an eye. But then I am reminded that these kinds of channels don't tell you just how manufactured and fake their content actually is. Fans, especially the young ones, were watching these massive YouTubers and believing that they were really dating and that their favorite two influencers were finally together, and that's just how they saw it. But as for the parents who allowed their kids to participate in this kind of content, these were the first stories that I heard that made me question why they continued to let their kids stay. They knew the content was weird. They knew it was manufactured, often uncomfortable for the kids, and yet they continued letting them film videos. And unfortunately, the discomfort that was published on these YouTube channels were just the tip of the iceberg. As for the parents, every single one of them that was interviewed in the documentary basically described it as a cult. One in which every member wasn't really able to talk about their experiences with other members because they were afraid that if one complained or spoke out of line, that information would get back to Tiffany and that someone would tell on them. Tiffany, who as the money and the popularity increased, so did her instability and her irrational behavior, and then eventually her extremely dark behavior. Any parents who did finally get brave enough to speak out, well, they themselves and their kid would be excommunicated and their child would suffer severe consequences on their individual YouTube channels. This isn't an excuse for those parents as to why they stayed, but that's just some context to understand. The consequences on the channels were so bad that some of the ex-members described how bot campaigns were set against them, and their videos were even embedded on sites, which ultimately made that content then not monetizable on YouTube. It can be strongly assumed that that was at the hands of Tiffany, those kind of moves, because your videos don't just get embedded in creepy stuff. She tried to ruin those kids as soon as they leave the channels. It was like, oh, you're gone from our squad. Now we're going to make sure that your channels suffer. And again, we're talking about kids here, kids, YouTube channels. It's so, whoa. The red flags just keep on stacking up. Some of the other members who did stay longer than they should have said that they were trying to protect Piper by remaining in the house and in their lives. Former members also alleged that she not only allowed predatory behavior to happen, but she actively engaged with it. Tiffany sent her daughter's underwear to fans. Let me just say that again. Sent her daughter's underwear to fans. And we all know damn well who those fans are.
It's been about like 2 days since
Corinne came home and asked me why old men like to smell underwear. It's one of those things, or again, where did you get this?
Piper had acting lesson, voice lesson, one of those. After we dropped Piper off, Tiffany was like, I have to go to the post office and drop off some things. And she had a bag and she pulled out what looked like Piper's underwear. And I asked her, like, why are you, like, shipping those out? And she told me that old men like to smell them. And I was confused. I was like, what is she talking about? Like,
But I confronted Tiffany. She's like, oh, stop being so dramatic.
That's just a clip from this docuseries. It's vile on another level that I can't even rationalize or fathom, I guess I should say, because it's so disgusting. It's so twisted. The fact that this woman is still controlling her child right now is so sick. So sick. And not only that, again, these things are just tip of an iceberg of other things that happened, but Tiffany also knew that her daughter had a male stalker, allegedly, who posed online as a young girl named Megan. And Megan would ask for special pictures, and Tiffany would oblige her requests. Megan would also call Tiffany, and Tiffany would force Piper to say hello to a male stalker on the internet. She was pimping her young daughter out for men who she damn well knew were perverts. Allegedly. It's sick on a whole other level. In the docuseries, they highlighted a couple articles that I just wanted to show here. One says, the influencer is a young teenage girl. The audience is 92% adult men. A family discovered and ultimately accepted the grim reality for young influencers on Instagram. The followers include large numbers of men who take sexual interest in children. This is not specifically for Piper's story, but this in general is just a conversation that many influencers have picked up on, especially young girls who do a lot of dancing content or who are young professional dancers or athletes. They find that a lot of their audience are men, older men. And yet the parents continue to allow the daughters to post online. I feel like they almost live in this pretend where like, no, everyone's innocent. 92% of old men watching my daughter's content, they're probably, I can't even fathom trying to rationalize that to allow your daughter to keep going. But this is a very common thing on Instagram, which is why places like the Wall Street Journal and New York Times have talked about this, because it's like, this is very common. So the second as a parent, even if it's making money, even if it's whatever, the second that you see that that's the correlation, gone. Should be removed, period. Sorry, daughter. Tough luck. I mean, truly, like that's how I feel about that. If you know that, I don't care how much money you're making. YouTube, you can pretend like, oh, there's not perverts watching my kids' content. But when you see like stats like that, I would love to know the rationale. This box represents a real photo of a 9-year-old girl in a golden bikini lounging on a towel. The photo was posted on her Instagram account, which is run by adults. And then what they wanted to do here is show the comments under that. So these were the kind of comments that kind of content gets. So it's not a bunch of other 9-year-olds saying, OMG, where'd you get that gold bikini? It's so cute. It's this. Again, this has been a whole discussion on Instagram. Could be a whole other episode about Instagram and the problems that it has, especially with young girls having accounts and that kind of being the comment section. Dark. And the article under this one, which is a fantastic read, a marketplace of girl influencers managed by moms and stalked by men. Going back to the docuseries, sadly, I was not surprised when ex-squad members ultimately shared that Tiffany began to sexually assault them as well. Allegedly. Eventually, when several of the members left, they joined together and started sharing their stories of verbal, emotional, and physical abuse, and ultimately filed a lawsuit against Tiffany back in 2022, I believe. There were 11 names of different YouTubers affected, 147 pages, and they ultimately settled, which at least brought attention to the behavior of Tiffany, though it was not a criminal lawsuit. And yet, she continues to be a momager. Her daughter continues to be paired with new creators to collab with, new minors in her orbit. which again, where are their parents? This is out there. This is public information that this lawsuit happened a couple years ago, that this Netflix doc is out. Like, what are you doing? Her daughter, who is still a minor, is posting and Tiffany is operating business as usual. But now Piper posts extremely sexual imagery online daily. It is just heartbreaking. And this doc also drew attention to a specific social media company called Brand Army that Piper is now on. And it's essentially an OnlyFans light. What I found most disturbing about it is that you can start creating content on that platform as a 13-year-old, but you have to be 18 or older to be able to pay for subscriptions to people's content. So you can be a 13-year-old creator and you must be older than 18 to watch their paid content. It's a recipe for disaster. At one point in this whole story, CPS was called on the kids, but Tiffany made sure that they all, didn't tell the truth. And more recently, with the lawsuit bringing issues to light, the FBI has been involved, but apparently they're waiting for a smoking gun, one that may never come. One person on TikTok said CPS and the FBI failed all those kids. They did. I hate when I hear that CPS comes to a home and they've missed something, because of course the person tells you not to tell the truth. Every time I hear that, it breaks my heart so much. But maybe they'll find that smoking gun, but at least from this Netflix doc, the truth can get out there so that people stay away from Tiffany. At least. If nothing else happens, at least she no longer gets to do what she's still doing. Thankfully, in other states right now, other monster mom influencers have been the catalyst for new laws. And just a few days ago, actually, Utah officially passed a law protecting kid influencers backed by Ruby Frankie's daughter, Sherry. It's something. It's not fully protective, but it's a start. And there are other Coogan laws known for being the laws that protect child actors that are slowly being changed to also protect child influencers in the same ways. As for the children affected by their time in Tiffany's squad, this doc is giving them a chance to finally get their stories out after being bullied by Tiffany's antics for years after having left the group. But I briefly just wanted to share a little bit of Sophia and Claire's content. They are two girls who were in the squad at one point who have become very, very vocal in all of this, and their voices are making huge changes right now for this docuseries, for exposing Tiffany, and just for exposing darkness in the industry as a whole. For Sophia, I've heard her talk a lot about how people say, well, get over it. It was so long ago. Like, you're just doing this now for clout. And it's heartbreaking because even you can see in this video, she's still very emotional. This is still very heavy stuff that these kids dealt with. And I'm not even sharing the details of some of the heaviest stuff that they did experience. And this girl is Claire. She is actually Piper's cousin, and she's been posting a lot of content now that the Netflix doc is out. But specifically, she posted this, and I wanted to share this with the audience. She said, April is Essay Awareness Month. And her caption said this: to all those who are afraid to speak out, don't want to break apart their family, who are justifying it because it is family, minimizing it, who don't want to be told that they're lying, who don't even realize it yet, who don't know what to do, who don't know who to tell or where to start, who are being told to forget about it, who are being told that that's not what's going on, who are being manipulated, and who is still actively going through it, I see you. I just know that you are going to be okay and you are going to heal from this. You are not alone. I'm so sorry to everyone who has experienced this, and I love you all. And I just thought that this was a powerful thing for her to share. And again, that these girls are brave enough to even talk about this because it is something that needs discussed. And it is something that needs brought to light, especially for the young people watching this, because unfortunately, this is a very real issue in our society. The more I get into this world, the more I cover topics like this, you realize just how prevalent it is. I mean, it's wicked. What I love most about these girls speaking up is that it gives others the courage to speak up and to realize that maybe what they're experiencing is also not normal. It was clear that these girls, Piper's friends, and that the producers tried to make this series a message to Piper and to young kids like her, to tell her that she is not the one to blame for this, and to tell her that what she is experiencing is not normal.
I genuinely hope that Piper's able to realize what she's in and get out. She doesn't even realize it right now. She thinks that's normal. So, like...
And that's so sad. Her mom is in her ear all the time, and if she's watching this right now, hey, it's not normal.
It's clear that they wanted this to reach Piper so that she could see the truth about all of this. And here is just one clip of Piper that I just wanted to show.
I'm trying not to laugh here, okay?
Keep going, come on.
And
We're
now,
gonna show you game mode. That's all you have to say.
You can just see that like giggling is to not cry. Like someone says that to you as a child and you just have to keep going and like, it's fine. It breaks my heart seeing any old stuff of her compared to what she's posting now, because the joy that she kind of exuded just as a child who was having fun in all of this is so gone. They just sucked the joy right out of the content that she used to make because she used to love it. Someone commented under that and said it wasn't about Piper, it was for her.
All of us are here for her, and we would help her. There's so much better that she deserves. Piper is a super sweet girl, and she deserves good friends and a good environment to be around.
Hopefully, this doc will wake more people up to the darkness that permeates even outside of the walls of the big studios in Hollywood. And please, please, please filter the kinds of content that you yourself or your kids or your loved ones are consuming. And most importantly, be cautious of the kind of content that you are posting online. You never know who is on the other side of that screen. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. And last but not least, if you want more content, you can also follow me on my personal pages as well as our new comment section Instagram. See you guys in the comments.